All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Glenn Stein, Realty Executives here. A little bit of history on me and the company. Actually, no history on me, unless you really want to know. History about the company. Been here since 2004. So, for the folks that have followed us for a while, you know that. In this building, in the Siebert Wealth Building, literally, I'm looking out, actually building another assisted living facility just outside. Right next door to the Hampton Inn, across from Laurel Manor on 466. So if you know where that is, actually stop in and see our staff sometime if you're ever in the area to say hi. It's also Flannel Friday here. I don't know if Carrie's going to make an appearance, but for those of you that have followed along, Carrie may jump in with. She's wearing flannel today, but it's not cold, by the way. So if you are living in some of these places, I've connected with a lot of people across the country, and you guys are freezing up north, right? 20 degrees, negative 15. I'd like to see the comments if, for the people that watch this, leave some comments in the chat section and talk about, what the temperature is in your particular area, in your neck of the woods. Be really, really fascinated on that. But I wanted to give you a market update beginning 2022 and what's going on and what's happening. Getting a lot of word as I'm talking to a lot of the realtors here at Realty Executives. We've been kind of analyzing. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen this year. There's a little bit of fear in the marketplace because I think there's natural fear. It doesn't matter when or where or what's going on, but I think interest rates going up. We're going to monitor that when we're looking at inventory. Inventory has gone up, I think 5 or 6 more homes this last couple of days, but nothing dramatic. I think we're in the mid 70s right now, 76, 77 homes on the market. Still incredibly low, incredibly low. So we're going to be paying attention to the inventory, of course. But, I think what I want to cover today is really 2 things. I want to look at, number one, if you're thinking about buying in the villages, and I also want to cover if you're thinking about selling or moving away from the villages, what basically it's the equivalent of, is this a good time to buy or is this a good time to sell? And we can never time the market. If anything, I'm looking at the seller side of things and it looks like it's a pretty good time to sell. It's possible, by the way, that the time, it could be a better time to sell later on this year. It's possible because, yes, interest rates are going up, but the inventory is still so low. So for the people that are looking, and if you do really want to be in the villages, you want to be in this lifestyle, then you really ultimately will basically have to pay. You really will, because those prices have gone up. And I think people look at it the wrong way. And I've bought homes in the area, and I look at it from this standpoint of, if you're trying to time the market and buy something that that is going to be at the rock bottom, it's probably not the right time to buy, because we're not going to be at rock bottom. I don't anticipate property values dropping any more than they have. In fact, based on the evidence, and I say that because I'm looking at the number of homes on the market. Now, if we get to the point where our supply is much higher than our demand, where we've got less buyers coming into the marketplace versus how many listings are coming on the market, which I pay attention to a lot. As you guys know, you can watch some of the prior videos. You can see, kind of get an idea of where we're coming from over the last 2 years. And what we're seeing is that inventory being low is predicated on the demand being much higher than the number of homes that were coming on the market. Now, something we've seen over the last couple of weeks, because I've been looking at this really closely, is the demand has tapered a bit. Our demand over the last 2 to 3 weeks has been less than normal, but normal for the time period, probably because we just experienced Christmas and New Year's. And the supply of homes has also slowed down as well. I think the next 2 to 3 weeks are going to tell us a lot. Number one, it's going to tell us how many snowbirds are here at the moment. Paying attention to the number of cars and golf carts that are in the area, what's going on. So I think that's an indication as well as anything else. But so far what we're seeing is that if you're thinking about selling right now, it looks like a pretty good time to sell, because sellers do hold most of the cards. Now, I'm also noticing that some people are waiting for the season to kick off, which is pretty much here. I think a lot of people wait for the, after the holidays to put their home on the market. Some people are holding off too. We usually see a little bit of an influx in homes coming on the market after March into April, because a lot of people rent out their homes for a season, and then they want to pick up the rental income. So that could be an opportunity for buyers as well to look at those types of homes. Maybe that could be a window of opportunity, in April, possibly. But right now, I would say, since we're seeing a balanced approach from buyers and sellers, not as many buyers coming into the marketplace yet, not as many listings coming on the market yet. It still is keeping inventory pretty low. That means that's why we're in the 70s. Have been in a holding pattern in that range. So that tells me great time to sell. You also, if you're trying to figure out, okay, should I wait, a couple of months before I do sell? That's possible, but there is, just like anything else, since it is a really good time to sell, you are risking things. So maybe it's not as good of a time to sell later on this year, because their interest rates have gone up already. They're indicating that interest rates could go up over the next, 8 to 12 months, another 2 more times, simply because of the threat of inflation. So it's something to take, really pay attention to. The good news is that over 50% of the deals that occur here in the Villages are done by cash. And the conventional loans that are done, obviously interest rates play a factor, but a lot of the loans, the buyers don't have to pay cash. They can actually, or they don't have to do a mortgage. They could pay cash if they so chose over the last couple of years, but they've chosen to go financing because the interest rates are so low. So that could change. We might see more buyers that are paying with cash. So good time to sell for sure. Is it going to be a better time? Maybe. It's possible with inventory. And some people are like, no, you're out of your mind. I look at inventory levels, and inventory stay low. Guess what? Prices are going to continue to go up. Now, they're not going to go up forever, but there is going to be a point where they do, plateau, probably sometime this year. That's my guess, educated guess on this. And when that happens, that'll mean that the demand has waned, and we're seeing more inventory in the marketplace. So really pay attention to the numbers I'm talking about. So if you're really monitoring this, remember we're in the 70s. If we get to the over the plus 100 mark, I think that's gonna tell us something right there. All right, that's gonna be okay. Market has shifted, and of course at that point it's too late. We're talking about timing the market, then all of a sudden you miss the peak. So that's the trick. So good time to sell. So let's look at the buyer side. So many of you that are watching are, living somewhere else. You're not living in the Villages, but you're planning on living in the Villages. You're not moving from the Villages. And, you want to move from Minnesota, from California, from Ohio, New York, wherever you're coming from. And as a reminder, leave your comments. I want to see comments as you're watching this, and where you are and what's the temperature. I want to know what that is, especially now. I think the weather right now, I think we're actually, there's not a cloud. There's a couple of clouds in the sky. I was going to say there's not a cloud in the sky. There's a few clouds. I think we're in the lower 70s. So don't hate me because we've got great weather. It's a good time to be here. So let me know what's going on where you are. So on the buyer side, when we're looking at what's happening somewhere else, or what's happening here in the market, some people, we've had a couple of people say, you know what, we're not going to look right now. Things have gotten a little bit frothy. Some people are saying, you know what, we're going to wait because we think the market is going to drop, and we're going to keep our money in the market and not buy something tangible. And, I can't judge it. I really can't. It's their money. I can't say it's the right move or the wrong move. I think your desire, your level of motivation should dictate whether you're going to move or not, right? It's ultimately up to you. And I think the last thing I ever advocate is to be pushy and say, you have to buy, you should, oh my gosh, hurry up, buy. No, you got to buy at your pace. Like when you buy, when you're rushed, guess what? You end up making a silly move or a silly decision. So I think that's an important thing to really realize. So you can't buy in a rush. I would start the process now and start looking around, so you can understand what the market is doing. Obviously, paying attention to this channel helps because you're going to be, I suspect the people that are watching this are going to be a little bit more educated than most. And I think that could be, I think that's a helpful thing for sure. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you are with a company and with a agent and a broker that has your best interest at heart. I think that's really important, and understanding who that is crucial. But looking at these numbers here, the share screen here, I've got looking at days on market. Really we saw a change in the marketplace. What's fascinating is that May, June was the time where we saw a little bit of a shift in the marketplace, meaning we saw less properties selling. But also, if you can tell by here, the days on market also dropped at that point. And what it tells me is that there was also less properties at that point. Guess what? Demand dropped. You're not seeing that here, but it did. Supply obviously dropped. And now the average days on market, meaning by the time a property was listed to the time it went under contract, dropped tremendously. As you can tell, this is what this is, days on market. Back in February is 40 days, 26 in March, 22 in April, 12 in May, 6, 4, 3, and it was 3 for 3 months through the fall. And then obviously November, December, 4 days, like it went up, like it took longer. But now we're looking at average sales price, and now it's jumped up all the way through. Are we at the highest point? We are at the highest point ever. December was the highest point, 339.7. So not terribly surprising, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're seeing right now. If you don't have to buy, then maybe now is not the right time to buy. Maybe you're going to roll the dice a little bit and hope that the prices settle down. Maybe they plateau, maybe they drop, maybe. At some point, I would expect something like that to happen. I think we're going to see a little bit of a plateauing soon. Sometime this year, we're going to see it because interest rates will rise, and I think we'll see a little bit of a plateau. And I think it's going to be a little bit more of a balanced market, meaning I think buyers will have a fair chance. I don't see a lot of lowballing. I don't see it getting to that kind of market where you're going to be coming in and offer $20,000, $30,000 less, unless I think the opportunity is looking at properties that are way above price, like sellers have pushed the envelope. And what I know about sellers sometimes is they will price it at a certain point and are okay. They would actually accept an offer, but they don't want to lower the price to what we would deem a realistic price. So for instance, let me give you an example. Here's an opportunity for a buyer. Look at the properties, and it doesn't matter what market you're in. This is something to really look at because this is advice that's worked across the country. Look at, let's say the property is, you're looking in anywhere between 400 and 500,000. That's your budget. And based on the research, based on the homework you've done, based on your realtor's homework, that basically the market price is about 450. It's priced at 480. So now you're thinking, okay, wait, it's supposed to be 450. It's priced at 480. It's been on the market for like 2 to 3 weeks. And as we know, 2 to 3 weeks, based on the numbers I'm showing you right now, that's a long time on the market. It should be about, 4 or 5 days should be under contract. Okay, that means it's overpriced. Maybe they're not getting a lot of showings. It's been on the market for several weeks. That could be an opportunity to offer something a little bit less. So maybe you're not going to get a fabulous deal, but you're going to get the home you're looking for because other people are looking at that home that's overpriced and they're saying, you know what, they won't even consider an offer. So as a buyer, maybe you're going to look at over your budget, maybe on homes that have been on the market longer. So start paying attention as a buyer. This is a buyer tip. Start looking at days on market. How long has it been on the market? Because anything that's worthwhile in this marketplace is selling relatively fast. You saw the average days on market, so pay attention to that. So leave your comments here if you have any questions, if you have any wins or successes around what we're talking about. And of course, leave your temperature where you are if you're not in the villages. If you're in the villages, I know what the weather is. I'm here. But if you're not in the villages and you want to leave a message leave a chat in the chat. That'd be great. Where are you? What's the temperature? And that would be kind of fun to see where everybody is. Snowy. I connected with somebody from Connecticut today, and it was I don't know, I don't remember the temperature, but it was snow, right? Like, and they were doing snow angels in Connecticut and a lot of places up north. So visit us, Realty Executives in the Villages. buysellthevillages.com is our website. Phone number for me. Connect with me. You can text me as well if you have questions. 352-572-3796. And please subscribe. That'd be fabulous. Happy New Year. And looking forward to seeing everybody and connecting with everybody pretty soon if you have questions.